Hello, everyone. This is Mayan Gordon. I am coming to you live from my RV that we live in full time. We sold our house in Spokane, Washington. And for 4 months now, we have been on what is called the Main Street Tour powered by Hootsuite. We are traveling across the entire country, visiting all 48 continental states, visiting small businesses, talking with them, capturing their stories, and sharing them with the world. But why I wanted to hop on today and why I'm going to be hopping on more consistently is really to talk about the thing that matters to me most in the world, which is helping people with their mental health and their emotions. Now, why is this so important to me? Is because it is the thing that has fundamentally changed every aspect of my life. I, like many of you, did not have the easiest childhood. In fact, from a psychological and emotional perspective, a lot of my childhood felt like torture. Now, not because I grew up in a super low income family. My parents were both, I would say, middle class. I'm the oldest of four, so my younger siblings definitely got the better end of the stick, and had a lot more kind of luxury and comforts than I did growing up. But we had enough money for food. I went to good schools, lived in a neighborhood that was safe, didn't have to worry about crime, a lot of things. But I still really suffered as a child because of the thoughts in my head. And I think a lot of us can relate to that because a lot of us are still suffering from the things that we're thinking and the thoughts that are going on inside our head that it sometimes feels like we have no power over. And there's this quote that I love, which is, "You'll never be free until you free yourself from the prison of your own thoughts." And this is really true. A lot of times, our thoughts can feel like they are imprisoning us in a reality we do not want to live in. And very sadly, suicide and overdose from opiates, which is, in my opinion, just another form of suicide, whether it's as intentional or not, it is still someone taking an action that ends up ending their life by their own hands. And to me, that is so incredibly tragic, but I also really understand where that comes from. It comes from that feeling of being completely trapped, completely helpless, completely hopeless, and powerless to change your reality that you're living in, and just simply not wanting to be here anymore. And that is something that I want to have an impact on. And it's something that I've really been able to have a huge impact on my own life and want to share some of the things that have worked for me with all of you guys. If you're watching right now, feel free to drop a comment. I would love to say hello to you. Again, this is live right now. If you're watching on the replay, definitely leave a comment as well. Let me know any questions you have. Let me know where it is that you're watching from in the world, because we might be coming to a city near you pretty soon. So, the thing I really want to talk about today is the power of words, because our thoughts are formed based off the words that we say and the words that we hear. And our thoughts tend to be repetitive. So if we've thought something before, it's more likely we're going to think that same thing again. So, how do we change that? If you've thought, "I hate myself, I hate the way I look," for thousands of times inside your own head, how do you break that cycle of repeating those same thoughts? One, you can do it by listening to other people's words. Two, you can do it by speaking different words, because when you hear yourself speak, it changes the way that you think at a fundamental level. And if anyone watching this is a fan of Brene Brown, you'll know that she talks a lot about this, how our words are so incredibly important because they shape our reality. And this is certainly true when it comes not just to our thoughts, but also to our emotions. When you are feeling something and you are trying to find the word to describe what it is you're feeling, you're also shaping the way that you feel. So if I feel this overwhelming sense of anger and I say, "I'm angry," I am cementing in my own mind and in my reality that what it is I feel is simply angry. When in fact, I might feel something much more nuanced, like frustrated that I have to spend time working on this project that doesn't make me feel fulfilled. So, when we can use more specific language, we can tie that language into causes and reasons as to why we feel that thing. When you just say, "I'm angry," it's very easy to stop there. "I'm depressed, I'm sad." Versus when you say, "I'm feeling lonely because I am very depressed that," or "I'm feeling depressed due to the fact that." So being able to tie what you're feeling to a cause of why you're feeling that is really a very dramatic way to open up a door to your prison and give yourself a way through, not necessarily a way out of that feeling, because feelings are wonderful, beautiful things. And wanting to avoid feeling is the same as wanting to not be alive. It's the same as wanting to not be human. So instead of feeling like I don't want to feel these things anymore, understand that being able to process your way through feelings is really the route to happiness. And happiness, yes, we use the word happy to describe a particular feeling of pleasure or comfort. Happy can mean so many different things to different people, right? But happiness is also a state of being and a state of mind. And you can be sad and happy at the same time. Here's a good example of that. And many parents will know this one. When you raise your kids and they go off to college, that moment of seeing them leave is, and I'm not a parent yet, so I can't tell you this from pure experience, but I know due to the level of empathy I have, that's a moment where you feel sad that they're leaving, but so happy that they are successful in going on to their next journey. Those feelings are not happening back and forth, back and forth. They're happening simultaneously because happiness is a state of being that you can experience through absolutely any emotion. And once you discover this and you start using it and experiencing it more, it will fundamentally change your life. It will change the way you think. It will change the way you process everything. So, how do you start this journey of using words to change your thoughts and change your reality? Great question, Mayan. How I've done it, and again, I think there's probably infinite ways that you can do this, but how I've done it is a combination of several things. One has been by reading. Why reading? Because books have a whole lot of freaking words, and a lot of them that maybe you've not used on a regular basis. And when you can read words and then implement them into your vocabulary, you change the way that you think. You change the words that the voice inside your head uses to think. And this is a really powerful tool. Another one would be podcasting. Now, not as much in the same way that when you read a word and you have the context of that word visually, that it's easier to implement in your own language. Podcasting is a little bit more different because you can't see the word. And there really is something fundamentally valuable about being able to see a word, speak it in your head. Because think about this, when you read, you're using the exact same voice that is the thought voice that is just going off in any situation to read. So when I'm reading, the guy went to the store. I'm not doing it out loud. I'm using the same thinking voice that is going to speak to me whether I'm asking it to or not, right? I'm just intentionally using it when I read. When I'm listening to a podcast, it's much more just audio being absorbed. I'm not repeating the language that I hear back in my head. But what's different and really kind of powerful about listening to podcasts is some of the phrases that you hear will stick with you. They'll have this stickiness where your brain will just find that phrase kind of delicious. And those phrases will get cemented in a way in your memory recall processing that you then implement into your speech and language later on. So those are two fundamental tools and ways that you can really change the language that you're using and change the thoughts that you're having on a regular basis. I would say the third component to really cement those other two strategies is by having conversations where you then intentionally use the language that you've acquired from writing and from listening, or from reading and from listening. Writing, actually, another great way. I would say I definitely use writing as a tool to practice language. And here's why and how writing as a tool is actually excellent in this whole context. So when I'm writing my LinkedIn post, you guys, you can do this on LinkedIn, you can do it on social media. There are guaranteed places, I know if you're watching me right now, that you are writing content. It could be responding to comments. When you write something, and let's say the first draft is I'm responding to a post by Stephanie Malik about how age is an important number, but it's not the only number that matters. I might want to respond, "Hey, Stephanie, I really appreciated this post because I think you're making a really great point." And I write that out. Now I can look at it and look at each individual word and think, "Hey, Stephanie, I really appreciate this post. Is appreciation what I feel? Is there a different word I want to use here? Hey, Stephanie, I really admired this post. Hey, Stephanie, I really resonated with this post. And you can try out specific different words when you are writing them down in a way that completely interacts with your emotions and your thoughts at the same time. And this is such a powerful tool. This is probably actually a real reason as to why I've been able to break free from my prison of thought. Is because writing is the first thing I ever got into when it came to business. Before I started my first business 12 years ago, I was doing copywriting full time, and I became fascinated with how changing one word in a sentence could change the entire meaning or feeling of that sentence. Have you guys ever thought about how amazing that is, that we can change one word and change our entire experience of what it is we or someone else is saying? That to me is akin to magic. What is more magical than being able to change your reality by changing a single word? So I'll leave you guys with that. I really hope you got some value out of this. If you did, please feel free to share. Please feel free to tag someone in the comments who you thought of during this. And also, I would absolutely love your feedback. What are some things you would like to hear me speak more on? What are questions you have? You guys, one of my extreme talents is really in research and finding incredible information. Processing information, but more finding it. I am not the genius that many people make me out to be when it comes to coming up with ideas, because I am not originating these ideas from nothing. I'm reading them or hearing them or finding them somewhere else and trying to bring them to you guys, trying to give them context that creates meaning for you guys in your life. So I would absolutely love to be at service to you in any way that I can. Let me know how I can do that in the comments. Again, my name is Mayan Gordon, and I really, really appreciate you.